everyone, I'm here today with Jennifer of AppleOak Fibre Works down in County Clare, Ireland. I was here for a wee course for 2 days, all about Woad, so it was very interesting, and we dyed these scarves, but we'll talk about that a wee bit later maybe. And Jennifer has kindly agreed to come on the podcast to chat about her studio and her natural dyeing. So do you want to just start off by telling us a wee bit about yourself and how you got into natural dyeing?
Yeah, so I started my first natural dyeing project was actually attending a little course where we just had a little pot over a fire. We collected a few dock leaves and a bit of fleece from the fence post and we threw it all in the pot and a few pennies, and that was it. So that was about 20 years ago. And then, so that really got the spark going, and then I just carried on. So I've been doing it now for, I think, about 18 years. And it just grew. So I did a lot of acid dyeing at the very beginning. And we just, at some point, had to make the decision if we wanted to do the acid or the natural dyeing. I kind of first thought we could maybe combine it, but that was a disaster. It really didn't work out at all. So we dropped the acid because the natural dyeing for me was, I don't know, I always loved plants. I am a garden designer as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a life before.
Really?
Garden designer and a kindergarten teacher as well.
No way.
So yeah,
that's so interesting.
A few things there.
Yeah.
So, but I always worked with plants, and my husband did as well. That's kind of how we met. And so the natural dyeing came almost naturally through gardening, with passionate gardeners, and so that's how I got into it. Really,
that's amazing. Mm. And I guess obviously this is like a big setup here. So how did you start off? And could you just tell us a bit about how you ended up here?
Yes. So this actually came about by a contract we got a number of years back, 6-7 years ago. We were asked to dye 2.5 tons of yarn, which was quite a lot for a backyard dyer, for a couple of kilos a week or something.
Yeah, and for the average person, how many skeins would that work out to be? About
2, so you would be talking
a few thousand anyway.
Yeah, it would be 2,500 skeins.
2,500 skeins. Yes. So there had to be a
Yeah.
serious upgrade.
Yes.
Quickly, I'm assuming.
Yes, very quickly.
Yeah, that must have been a wee bit stressful.
Oh yeah, just a little. It was mayhem actually. It was trying to get it all going, all off the ground. And
and was Tristan working with you at that point? Or?
He is a landscaper as well. So he was landscaping as well as then creating the walls and here and everything, and then during the night, So it was a bit mad.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of big equipment from Donegal Yarns. We got a bit of advice there. Even just how to handle it, and how to dye it. And so this is then how we set it up here. Mm-hmm. And this is how this came to be, Before it was just I had a container in the back, where I was just dyeing from. And so that's how we came here. And then we didn't see eye to eye after a while with the contract, and we let it go. And then we started to dye for designers a lot. Irish linen in particular was a lot.
Mm-hmm. So more like in the fashion world.
Yeah.
So Jennifer doesn't just dye yarn; she dyes other things as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But I do prefer dyeing yarns.
Oh.
It's just I do like that most, and we are mostly set up for that.
Yeah,
the Irish linen, it's lovely to work with, and I do love working with linen and nettle and things. But the reality is that our studio itself, where we work, is mainly designed for yarn. Mm-hmm. So you can see the yarns behind us, which we just did there recently.
And this was a special project you did for. Do you want to tell us about what that was for?
Yeah, so we wanted to. Yeah, these are 8 different bases, and we wanted to show people how different, even though the dye is the same for all the 8 bases, the color uptake, the color outcome can be very different from whatever fiber you're using. So that was really what we were after. So at the very top is the descriptions of what dye we used. And then when you go down, you see the different color results, even though they were dyed all at the same time.
And you were using this as part to write your professional course?
I was, just to with the professional natural dyers course, I have a lot of recipes there, a lot of my own recipes, which I do think is really just universal recipes, but they happen to be written in my book. So I just wanted to run them through the whole method I'm explaining there, just to make sure that it actually really works, So, and it does, thankfully. So even color outcomes and, color fastness, all of that. And the maturing of color before selling, all of that is part of it.
And did you have to do like a lot of research at the start to like find out what colors were like light fast, or were you able to learn that from books, or like all of that type of stuff?
So a lot of my learning came through watching other people's work, reading other dyers, usually kind of masters of their profession, be it Japanese, be it English, France, England, all of these dyers. So because I have 3 children as well, I couldn't really just go and travel all the time, So that was my Michel Garcia. I learned a lot from him as well.
He's very interesting, isn't he? He's a character.
He is, yes. So I learned a lot from him as well, and his work. I think I'm quite good at researching. I quite enjoy that, and I'm quite good at it. So I learned a lot that way. Not necessarily attending by going to Japan or something, but just
I would love to.
I would love to,
That is on my bucket list.
Yes.
I'm going to do it and visit all the indigo dye houses and visit all the master indigo dyers.
No, I would. I'm looking forward to that. Part of life, and the kids
You're
have
closer
gone.
to it than me.
It will be amazing. I have noticed though that speaking another language, being German, gives you another kind of almost an extra extension to what's available to you, There are a number of German dyers who would only write in German, so you can only reach, if you speak German. So that's been definitely an advantage as well in learning, So,
So now that we know a bit about Jennifer's background, I think what we're going to do is a wee tour of the workshop and the studio and everything. And I would like to hear you talk a little bit more about what we were doing this weekend, because Jennifer and Tristan have a very interesting experiment with Woad going on here. They have done quite like field size scale trials of different types of woad to see what type of blue they produce and how they perform in the Irish climate. So we have some examples here to show you what you have been doing, so I'm sure everyone will be very interested to hear all about that, because there's a whole other side to you growing your dye plants as well, which is a big project, a huge project. It's really takes up probably most of Tristan's time, does it?
It does.
And all the recording of that and everything, so that's really, really interesting. So we'll maybe talk about that after we do the wee tour, and hopefully you'll all enjoy hearing about that. Okay, so we're at Jennifer's beautiful yarn wall, and she's going to talk us through maybe a couple of her favourite colours that she produced in this section and how she dyed them. And so tell us, what's your favourite colour here and how did you dye it?
To be honest, I always loved all colours. I just love the natural dye. Is just, you can always combine them. It doesn't matter which one you choose. And here I think what I love dyeing with is really the sage.
That's a beautiful colour.
Yeah, it's something that doesn't come up often when you talk about natural dyes. People are often surprised that you can dye with sage. Then you have the madder, another one. it's all the dyes you can grow here, which is for me or for us here at AppleOak very important.
Yeah.
To just be able to bring the natural dyes, to grow them around you, you know, to not having to import it all. And so this is what this wall is about. Now I have to say that there are just some dyes you can't do yourself, like the cochineal. It's just you can't produce it any other way. So that would be these colors here. That's just, yeah, you can't, and we have to. So we're getting it from Spain.
And you're also growing your own indigo, aren't you?
Well, not this is indigo now. We're growing the own woad.
Yeah.
And the Japanese indigo as well.
Yeah.
We have a lot at home, which is ripe for the picking, but Tristan won't let me because he wants it for seed production, so that's a bit mean. But but the aim is to have a Woad vat and Persicaria, Japanese indigo vat in the long run. So fingers crossed that's happening soon. And then those will be replaced hopefully then with our own production. Now it will probably not be as dark then, but we'll see how it goes.
Cool.
So yeah, and so this is an Irish yarn actually. One we teamed up with Eriu. They have a lovely they created a lovely yarn from a couple of I think a wool blend of BFL and Romney lambs, and it's actually, I quite like it. It's
nice. It's really nice.
It's not too scratchy, and I think you can get away with it to wear it next to your skin. I think
it's nice.
Yeah,
I would definitely wear that next to my skin. No problems.
So it's unfortunately a little pricey because they're only 50 gram skeins, but it was so nice to just dye an Irish made yarn, you know, and with natural dyes and keeping everything so healthy. Yeah. In a lot of ways. You know?
I'm really drawn towards these colours currently and this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that worked out very well.
It's very beautiful. Yeah, really nice. And I've seen a colour. This is a very unusual colour.
Yeah, and I don't think we will ever be able to recreate that color. It's an accident color, which wasn't supposed to happen, actually. It's we used oak oil there, but unfortunately, when we dyed it, what happened was that the mother bath spilled over into the oak oil.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it has a little on the wool. You can see it. It has a little red sheen on it.
Yeah.
So we did the mother bath. It spilled over with iron, and then we had to put oak oil in to just bring out the brown a bit more. And but it's stunning because they were all done at the same time, and you can see they're totally different. Especially if you go, you know, it's just amazing how different the colors from fiber to fiber, you know. So that was really part of this project, to just really see and then create a color palette that is repeatable. One of the biggest challenges in natural dye.
Oh yeah, that's a big challenge.
Yes. So we're aiming for, apart probably from this one, to be able to recreate this palette, putting a few more neutral, slightly more calmer colors in. These are very strong colors. And then hopefully being able to send it to a few yarn shops, you know. That's the aim of the game eventually. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Cool.
So this is the dye room. This is where we actually do all the dyeing. The other place was more the kind of shop and workshop area. So here we have everything we need for it. So we're doing the mordanting on the left side. So in the barrels we generally mordant anything up to 10 kilos of yarn. We only do cold mordanting because of
electrical consumption.
Yes, that's the one. Consumption. just to keep the energy low, energy costs low, and just also for the environment. So we're doing a lot. So everything is cold mordanted. Once we've done the cold mordanting, we have them in our, we put them into, for dyeing, they go into these baths.
And this is a very unusual setup, I have to say. So you made this out of cattle feeding?
Cow trough.
Cow troughs?
Yeah, they're actually for cows or cattle. The water feeders. So usually they're full of water for for drinking.
Yeah.
So we lifted them off the ground and we put a metal frame around it, which is insulated. So it keeps it from losing the heat too fast. And we can do 6 kilos of yarn in each bath, and they're connected up top. So if we fill it up really high, we can actually dye the whole lot, 12 kilos in one go, or we keep it below, and then we can do 2 different colors, like adding some iron to one and leaving the other. And then we have this yoke here. That's my teapot, so to speak. This is where we extract the dye. So anything like sage leaves goes in here, and it's extracted. Do you want to have a look inside?
Sure, yeah.
So at the moment...
There's something very interesting in here.
So we're just currently doing a pigment extraction from Woad, and this is fermenting. So I don't know if the camera will catch it, but you can see slight bits of blue on the bubbles.
Yeah, we can see that.
So this has been sitting in there since yesterday afternoon. Did we do that? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's probably gonna stay for another night, and then we're gonna process it into Woad pigment. That will be very exciting.
Yeah.
So that's bubbling away here at the moment.
Very happily.
Yeah, we just have to make sure we catch the tipping point, because there's a very, you can't do it too early, then you can't get anything. You can't wait too long, because then it tips over and you won't get anything either.
Yeah.
So we just really have to keep an eye on that. So that's what's happening in here. But generally, this is used to extract any kind of dye we're using, and then it gets pumped into those baths, and then we dye them.
It's an amazing system. Very clever. So it is.
Yeah, it's a bit messy at the moment because of the workshop.
Oh, don't worry about that.
But, yeah, and then these are heat setting and tester pots for smaller amounts, and then we have the indigo vats.
Oh yes, we're very interested in the indigo vats. Well, I am. I'm very interested in your indigo vats.
So this is the mineral vat. Do you want me to open it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's about 2 years old now. That's done with iron, lime, and indigo, and yeah, it works very well. So you can see the crystallization here on the stick we use for stirring, because it's iron. It's a salt. So
yeah,
we have to stir them regularly, and when you do, it kind of, you can see the green coming up then. And that's obviously what you're using, what you're after in a vat. So there you are.
And would you be coming in at the weekends to do this, or can you get away without doing that?
I can get away with it, yeah. At the very beginning, we had to come in every day.
Yeah.
Same with the fermentation vat. But now we can leave it.
Relax a little bit.
Yes, yeah.
And then this is your fermentation vat.
Yeah, if you want to see that, because then I have to unplug it. Yeah. So if you push this down gently, and you feel a resistance.
Yeah.
And when you let it go, it jumps out.
Whoa.
So if I do the same here.
That's crazy. Why does it do that?
Yeah, if I do it here, there isn't really much happening.
Huh.
Yeah. This is a sign of the fermentation is happening down there. The fermentation, just like you saw on the leaves, here it's pushed.
Right.
And it pushes the wood out. So yesterday, and that just runs by, it has to be kept warm at all times. So that's a bit of a bummer, but
yeah.
think from a sustainability point of view, we use what you have for it. We're feeding it with mother. The mother is used for dyeing first, and then we're using it for feeding. So we're really making the most of it all. We're also feeding it with Woad boards. We make from Woad leaves we did today.
Yeah.
So if you want to have a look at them, you can have a look at those today. So
This is your drying room.
So we made patties this time just to see how they work. They're quite thick.
We called them burgers.
Yeah, we had quite the thing going, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Burgers,
pesto.
Smells, it looks like pesto, smells like mashed peas. So but we're getting very hungry.
Yeah.
So the idea is now to dry these rather quickly. So they're quite chunky. These were the ones from last year.
So how quickly would you have to dry these to stop them?
Within 3-4 days.
3-4 days.
So I usually have the whole system, the drying system on. That's very noisy, so that's why we have it off now. But this is what we're after then. So they shrink dramatically, even though they're quite big. They will shrink, maybe a little bigger than that. But they lose a lot of moisture. So so that was the first set. And
then you can use these to feed your indigo vat or your Woad vat or
the fermentation vat.
the fermentation vat.
Yeah.
So you can use all sorts of different things to feed your indigo vat.
In terms of
Like the dock root.
Oh yes, you could do the dock root. You could use you could also use rhubarb root, any kind of sugary root, I suppose. I do prefer to use just madder root because I'm using it in dyeing as well, and I'm just used to it.
Yeah.
So I like to stick with what I know. But in theory, you should be able to use that as well. When you start it off first, it's always good to go for ground in the roots because otherwise it takes too long. But you can use chopped a bit later, but the ground definitely is the more active one, And then we use these for feeding the fermentation as well. They might bring a little bit of glue, but really not that much. So it's mainly just for the bacteria and any kind of yeasts or anything like that we have on there that will feed the fermentation. If I wanted them to be used for blue, I would have to dry them like this. I would have to crack them open, sprinkle with water, and actually compost them, which is then called a kudged wood. And that you will have a kind of a lumpy soil kind of structure. And then you would use that to actually make a fermentation vat, because then the wood is activated. Now, how that works, why it's activated then, and I don't think anybody has an answer to that. Everyone has theories, but So that's what we do with these now,
And this was Woad you grew as part of the trials?
Yes.
Yeah, which is amazing. Yeah. So we'll maybe go and hear a wee bit about the field trials you're doing now. And the results from that.
Yeah.
Okay, so could you tell us a bit about these lovely silk scarves that are in front of us and a bit about how they came to be? Because I know it's been a very big project about growing your wool. So if you want to just tell us a wee bit about that and how you start that whole project and just...
Yeah. Okay, we had, I think the first time I came across the idea of that there might actually be different varieties of woad was about 6 years ago when we got some woad seeds. And I think the first ones was actually the Irish seed saver seed. So that's the one we grew at home, and that's a good few years now. And when we tried that out, I kind of started a Facebook group called Woad Project, and other people were bringing their woad, and we suddenly realized that there were different varieties of woad because they didn't bring out the same blues, and they even looked differently, they would grow differently. So we kind of thought, okay, let's try. So we got a couple of people who would send us seeds from the area. So we had one from Canada, which is this one here. And then we had one from the UK, the Tewkesbury, which is very well known for being quite strong and blue and a very good grower. And then we obviously had the ISA, the Irish Seed Savers one as well. So this was the first trial we did, and it was a bit chaotic, really. It was too many people, too little time to see much of a difference. So, but we did it anyway. So long story short, Tristan, he's a professional seed saver and gardener. He joined AppleOak full time last year, and because we want to grow our own woad to dye, as well as maybe to sell a certain amount of it, we wanted to choose a woad that would do well in the Irish climate, as well as give a nice color. So we ended up looking for the good woad plant, and then it just grew from there. So we had already the 3 varieties, but then Tristan got in touch with Arkanoa, for example, in Austria, and they were saying, "Oh, we have a woad plant, and why don't you try that one?" So that would be this one here. Mm-hmm. And
this is the one from Austria, did you say?
Yeah, Arkanoa.
That's how that turned out. And just for comparison, this is from Hungary.
Hungary, yeah.
It turned out very different. And we could compare that with, we don't have the full sample of this, but this is the Irish Seed Savers one, which I'm not sure if you can tell on the camera.
If you use this actual sample, because the different silk, so that you can see it maybe better there.
You can see it's
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite bright.
Yeah.
And it turned out really nice, I think.
It did,
yeah.
So actually, from what we did, so we have currently 21 varieties of woad from all over Europe and slightly beyond, growing in a field. And we did the trials then. So there are 4 plots of each variety spread across the field, so we could see even, some areas where the field wasn't that great from the soil condition. If they also didn't do well further down in the field, we knew it was a variety rather than the soil condition. Mm-hmm. So it's been a bit of a learning curve, the whole thing. But the Irish woad, I think, did the best in the end,
I think it did really. It was a really nice blue.
Yes, that was a bit of a surprise as well. Because as a plant itself, it can be a bit all over the place, actually. But it created, in this harvest, which was the first harvest, now we'll have another one in August, it was definitely the best blue. And then we did 4 blues all together. I was surprised that the Tewkesbury wasn't one of them, mm-hmm. because that would have been it's a very popular one in the dyeing, in the natural dyeing world. The Tewkesbury is known for its strong blues, but mm-hmm. It didn't make the cut in the end, actually. Yeah. We have the 10, number 10 was the next one.
It was a popular.
That was also a good blue.
I'll just show it on the silk, and this is the Irish Seed Savers one.
And we had then, this one comes from France as well. That made the cut as well.
You probably can't tell the difference as well on the camera as you can in real life, but yeah.
Yeah, so it definitely. So 4 of them made the cut, and so now we're looking at the growing of it all, on how different they behave in the field, because they might produce a nice blue, but they might be absolutely terrible for growing. So we just have to keep on doing it now for this year. Also see how the second harvest goes. Are they going to perform just as well then?
That'll be really interesting to see if there's any difference, or if it'll be bluer.
Yeah.
What the weather will be like will affect it too, I suppose.
It's never, you just can't ever put it in a box. So
we spent the last day and a half-ish doing a contact, would you call it a contact? Japanese method of fresh leaf extraction, would you say?
Yeah, you just
of dyeing these silk scarves. So we were able to harvest the woad leaves, and then we had to mash them up, bash them up. And then we, no, what did we do? I can't even remember now.
You blended it, used the blender.
Yes, we
to
blended
blend?
it. We put water in the bucket, blended it, and then we massaged the silk scarves below. Each bucket was a different variety, so we were able to see.
Yeah.
And very quickly, the one that I was doing, which I think was the Irish Seed Savers one, it looked as if it was going to come really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But then, yeah, obviously we made the Woad balls, which is where we smashed it up with the fence posts.
Yes.
And then, you're also making your pigment, your sludge from the woad leaves as well.
Yeah, fingers crossed it will work. We
Yeah.
won't miss the tipping point. So we'll see what that will be.
Yeah, so it's a great enterprise you've got here, and
Yeah.
amazing experiments that you're doing as well.
Yeah, thank you.
So if you want to check out AppleOak Fibre Works, Jennifer has a website, an Etsy shop. She's also run a professional dyeing course, and you can also join it's kind of like an online forum called the Collab Rooms, where it's kind of like a forum for natural dyers, and Jennifer and Tristan head that up, so you can ask questions there, you can see what other people are doing, and it's a really nice way for natural dyers to connect, so definitely go and check that out. I think it's like €45 for 12 months, is that right?
So yeah.
Yeah, and the first 6 months are free, so do check that out. I'm over there too, and it's really, really good, so that's definitely worth joining if you're a natural dyer, or even if you're just interested in natural dyeing.
Or growing.
Or
There's
growing,
a lot of
yeah.
stuff, the growing aspect is covered.
And there's a bit on there about setting up your studio as well, if you're thinking about that. So definitely go and check all of that out. And thanks for joining us today. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And I really enjoyed the course too. So thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
Until next time.